Welcome to Nice and Blunt. I'm Adam Riancho, and it's Monday. Week 1 is almost in the books. We have a game between the Vikings and Bears left to play. But heading into Week 2, it's time to make some win-loss picks, as always. But before we do that, we always take a look at last week's picks, tell you where I was right, where I was wrong. And overall, nothing special in Week 1. I did make some bold predictions, and some of them did not work out. Let's go through each game. I'll give you my notes, what I learned, what were my main takeaways from each game. Since it's Week 1, there's a lot to learn. Since it's all kind of new, a lot of new environments that we have yet to see play up until this point. So I was correct. I did take the Eagles over Dallas. And when it comes to this game, I thought the Eagles looked kind of bad, honestly. Like, their lack of usage for A.J. Brown was a shocker, but Jalen Hurts was unguardable. They find a way. They're a much better team than Dallas, so it makes sense they got the win. But honestly, the Cowboys were very close, if not for some drops and mistakes, from winning. I thought if Jake Ferguson had caught that touchdown, if CeeDee Lamb had not dropped as many passes, if Pickens had not had some penalties, then maybe the Cowboys would have won. They actually played a lot better than I expected. The Cowboys, I thought, were kind of encouraging, but they did get the L. I was right by picking the Eagles. I was also right by picking the Chargers. My blind faith in my favorite team did pan out, and honestly, Justin Herbert looked phenomenal. They leaned on him like crazy. I thought they would run the ball more. That didn't happen. I thought the defenses for both sides really were kind of no-shows. The defense for the Chargers was good in the beginning of the game, and then did give up some big plays, like that fourth down conversion of Hollywood Brown late in the game. Like, yikes, come on. They also gave up that last-second field goal in the first half. If Hampton didn't run out of bounds, it would have been a moot point. But damn, the Chargers got the win. They deserved it. And the Chiefs looked like nothing special. Worthy got banged up. I don't fear the Chiefs at all, especially until Rashee Rice comes back from suspension. I think the Chiefs are very, very beatable. I do not fear the Chiefs at all right now. I also noticed they didn't get a single controversial call to go in their favor. Even that Travis Kelce bitch slap by Tyre Tart was not penalized. He did not get ejected. I think the Chargers are legit. The Chiefs might miss the playoffs. I'm at least hopeful that that will happen in Week 1. But where I was wrong, I did take the Falcons, and Drake London was not dominant as I expected, as he has been in the past. That was not a factor. So the Bucs defense did step up, did stop him very well. Otherwise, though, I didn't think the Bucs looked like overwhelmingly dominant at all. This game almost went into overtime, if not for a missed kick by Younghoe Koo, and who knows what would have happened. Maybe my Falcons pick would have been correct if overtime was available. So I was encouraged by Atlanta. I thought Bijan looked unguardable. Penix looked very good. And if London can step up, if Mooney's healthy, I think the Falcons offense is actually a tough matchup. Not that bad of a showing by Atlanta, but they did not get the win. They did not prove me correct. Egbuka looked phenomenal for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and once Godwin's healthy, that's going to be a very tough receiving core to stop. So Tampa probably going to win the division now, but this loss for Atlanta, I don't think completely writes them off just yet. I think the Falcons can still bounce back as the season goes on. But an L for me, I did take Atlanta. They did not force overtime, so bummer for yours truly. And then I also took the Cleveland Browns to beat Cincinnati. And honestly, I don't think this was a bad call. They only lost by 1 point. The Bengals offense looked like shit. Burrow couldn't get anything going. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins were terrible in fantasy. The Browns just could not get over the hump, and 1 point shy of getting the victory, or at least forcing overtime. That was a bummer. Flacco nearly threw for 300 yards. So this is probably going to be their best game of the season. Honestly, I don't feel encouraged up until they play the Dolphins. I think the Browns are going to lose every single game this year. So Browns are ass. Browns are terrible. I gave them the benefit of the doubt for Week 1, and it was the incorrect decision. But I don't feel bad about it. Honestly, this one I don't feel bad about at all. But I was right about the Colts. The Colts looked really good, but I'm not convinced that Daniel Jones is actually that elite. I think Shane Steichen in Week 1 had a really good game plan, and the Dolphins basically quit already. The Dolphins look like complete garbage. The Dolphins might be the worst team in the NFL. At least through Week 1, it looks like that's the case. So I was right about that. The Dolphins, definitely a team to fade. I'm happy about that preseason prediction. And the Patriots, I was very incorrect about. This one, I need to take a big L. The Raiders are much better than I gave them credit for. So Raiders defense, I think, is legit. Pete Carroll is a very good coach. Chip Kelly also had a good game plan on offense. Bowers did get banged up, so monitor his knee situation. I don't think he misses time, but that was not ideal. The Patriots offense, though, looked kind of abysmal. Patriots offense couldn't really get anything going, and then their defense, missing Christian Gonzalez, did not stop anyone in the passing game. So New England, not as good as I thought, but it's still week one. Maybe they can improve as the weeks go by. And then in New Orleans, everything was as expected. The Saints looked really bad. The Cardinals won kind of comfortably, but honestly, I thought they could have looked much better. The Cardinals didn't make me think they were poised to make the playoffs. Cardinals just did what they should have done and got the win. At least they covered the spread. That's all that matters. I did pick them against the spread in this one. So that one was a good pick there. But then the Jets Steelers game, wow, that one was way more entertaining than I would have expected. A lot more offense than anticipated. But the Jets was my pick, and honestly, it looked like the right call for the majority of the game. They dropped 32 points on offense, and if you told me that going into the week, I would have definitely felt better about this Jets pick. But they held their own. I think the offense looked a lot better than expected, and even though they gave up 4 passing touchdowns to Aaron Rodgers, they almost got the job done. They got stopped on the final drive, but were kind of close to kicking a field goal for the dub. So good for Justin Fields. Sadly, I was wrong about this one, but if you pick the Steelers and you watch this game, I don't think you felt very good about it going in to the final quarter. So the Steelers do win. The Jets covered the spread. A very good game, and maybe both teams are better than expected this season. But the Commanders did beat the Giants pretty comfortably. The Giants offense was one of the worst we've ever seen, so Russell Wilson probably going to lose his job very quickly, but the Commanders could have put up more points. The Commanders didn't look elite on offense in this game, but they did cover the spread. They did get the win pretty easily, and then Jacksonville also got the win easily, but I kind of think they benefit from that weather delay. That I think really threw off the Panthers offense overall, but their receiving core is not deep at all. Maybe they miss Adam Thielen quite a bit. Chuba Hubbard did not get the job done against a porous Jaguars defense. So maybe the Jags do step up this season, but I didn't feel like I learned much from this matchup. I don't feel like I can trust Trevor Lawrence very much. Brian Thomas Jr. was pretty much unusable in this matchup. If not for his touchdown, shit would have gotten ugly pretty bad in fantasy. So Travis Hunter was used heavily, but not efficient at all. If not for the Panthers' run defense still being terrible, I don't think ETN would have looked as good, and ETN was really the big difference maker in this matchup. I still don't quite trust him. So Jaguars did get the win, but I don't fully believe that they're as good as the scoreboard would have suggested. And then the Broncos did get the win. Their defense didn't look as good as I thought it would, but they did cover the spread. They did win by 8 points, and that's kind of all that matters. 20-12 over the Titans. Maybe they're not as elite as expected, but it's just week one. I think they will get better. The Titans, I think, will also improve dramatically over the course of the next month. So Titans, kind of better than expected. They did hold their own for the majority of the game, but then in the late second half, things got broken open. The Titans, I think, will improve quickly over time. But in week one, as expected, they did lose by more than a touchdown. Next up, though, the Seahawks. This one was a bad call. The Seahawks offense looked really bad, in my opinion. Their receiving core is pretty thin. Kupp did nothing. And beyond JSN, they just have no one to really move the needle at all. So even though Kenneth Walker was fine, he was not as dominant as I expected. Charbonnet actually got the touchdown, and perhaps more of a committee than we thought in the first place. But the Niners offense looked pretty good, even though they lost George Kittle to a hamstring injury. They lost Juwan Jennings to an arm injury. They still got the job done. They only scored 17 points against a very good Seattle defense. So the Niners, I think, are legit. Maybe the Niners do make the playoffs after all. Maybe I overestimated Sam Darnold and Seattle. So that one was a bad call by me. I think that and the Patriots prediction were the only two picks I made that I feel kind of bad about and, did let me down pretty badly. But I did take the Packers to beat the Lions. The Packers looked amazing. The Lions looked pretty bad. I'd be worried about their run game. The offensive line didn't get much going, and Jahmyr Gibbs looked really ineffective in the run game. Their yards per carry were pretty terrible. The Lions' identity may have gone away from them, but perhaps the Packers defense is just that legit. So not going to hit the panic button on Detroit just yet, but I would be concerned. They looked pretty bad after looking really dominant last few years. Without Ben Johnson or Aaron Glenn, I think their team might struggle. So that's bad for Detroit, but I did take the Green Bay Packers, so it was expected, at least by me. And then I was wrong about the Texans, although their defense really played well. They held the Rams to 14 points. In general, that's going to be enough to get the win, but the Rams defense I thought looked elite. The Rams held Houston to only 9 points, and Nico Collins did not find the end zone. Nico did not have a good game by his typical standards. So I'd be very worried about the Texans offense, honestly, but their defense did step up. I don't feel terrible about this pick, but it wasn't my best call on the week by far. The Rams did win by 5 points, and I'm glad I did not take the Texans against the spread. I almost picked that, and I'm very glad I did not do that. So good for the Rams. There's a chance that maybe they not just win the division, but lock up the 1 seed. They looked really dominant, and if their defense is this good, then watch out. It's going to be very tough to beat LA. I picked them to make the Super Bowl, and after week 1, that doesn't look like a terrible, terrible call. If their defense is this good, watch out for the Rams. But lastly, on Sunday, I did take the Ravens, and throughout the majority of that game, it looked like the wise decision to trust Baltimore. But of course, they find a way to lose. Another fumble in Buffalo cost them the win. They were up by 15 points with 5 minutes left, and they lost by 1 point. That is sad to see. But against the Bills, maybe not that pathetic. The Bills are one of the best teams in the NFL, and a comeback victory by Josh Allen is not the end of the world. If they lose to the Browns, that's the end of the world, but this loss against Buffalo, I can forgive. So the Bills look very poised to get the 1 seed in the AFC this year. That's definitely likely to happen after they beat Baltimore. The only games that I think are a toss-up for them would be the Eagles, the Chiefs, and the Bengals games, and I think they'll go 2-1 in those matchups. So the Bills are going to be the best team in the AFC this season. Love that for them. Good win against Baltimore. And lastly, I did mention earlier on in the video, I did take Chicago to beat Minnesota. We'll see what happens. If I'm wrong about that, I will go 8-8, and that's a rough record. That's not encouraging in week 1. But in week 1, there's a lot that we have yet to see, and I did make some bold upset calls. The Browns and the Jets, I wish I could take back, but the Seattle Seahawks, the Patriots game, those were the 2 that really felt like I was way off base with my prediction. Otherwise, I kind of felt like I was at least close with how I viewed most of these games turning out. So that's it for the recap, and here are the poll results. Y'all have a better record than I do. Y'all go 10-5 on the week. The games you got wrong were the Chiefs over the Chargers. That did not happen. Y'all picked the Chiefs. Rough game there. Y'all agreed with me, though. Y'all took the Patriots in overwhelming fashion over the Raiders. That one was a bad pick. You guys also took the Dolphins overwhelmingly over Indianapolis. That was a terrible call. But then you also took the Lions over the Packers as well. That one didn't work out. And then you also took the Ravens like I did over Buffalo. And that one almost happened. It just was not close enough. Did not happen in the fourth quarter. So y'all had 5 incorrect, 10 correct so far. And at the moment, it looks like most of you are picking the Vikings tonight. So we do disagree as of right now. The Vikings are your pick. And if you guys are wrong, then I'll go 9-7. Y'all will go 10-6. And that would look a little bit more respectable than 8-8 versus 11-5. But that's it for the poll results. We'll see what the record looks like as the weeks go by. But so far, you guys are at least locked into 1 more correct pick than I am. But now that that's out of the way, let's take a look at this week's slate of games, make some win-loss picks for week 2, and hopefully learn from my mistakes, have a better record this time around than last week. But on Thursday night, I have the Green Bay Packers at home beating the Washington Commanders, I loved what I saw from the Packers defense. I think they're legit. They also get the home field advantage on short rest. I think they'll get the job done. I didn't feel like the Commanders offense looked elite by any stretch of the imagination against the Giants. So I loved the Packers in week 1. I think they continue. I think they're going to start off 4-0. They get a game against the Browns and the Cowboys after this before their bye. I think they will go undefeated. So give me a win at home for Green Bay. I think Jordan Love will get the job done. Josh Jacobs going to be the difference here. And then on Sunday, we have the Bengals hosting Jacksonville. And although the Jags looked really good, I think it was mainly just the Panthers looking really bad, and also the weather delay really hindering the Panthers' overall game plan. So I will trust the Bengals here. I think bouncing back on offense is the bet to make. I think Burrow will look way better than last week. And at home, I do not trust anyone on the Jags defense to stop Jamar Chase or T. Higgins. I think they'll look way, way better this time. And I think they will have an overwhelming victory here. Give me the Bengals at home to get a win. I think they'll win by more than a touchdown in this game. This could be a blowout, honestly, if the Bengals offense does step up as I'm expecting. But Dallas, I think, will beat the Giants as well. The Cowboys looked way more competent on offense in week 1. They almost beat the Eagles. So I don't think the Giants traveling into the Cowboys Stadium have a chance here. I'm really worried about Russell Wilson all year long, and perhaps week 1 was a fluke. Perhaps the Giants bounce back, but I think the Cowboys with extra rest will have a good game plan here. Give me Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb to get the job done. If Javonte Williams looks as good as last week, then the Cowboys run game will definitely be the difference here. Give me Dallas against the Giants, but this might be a close one. I don't feel amazing about this pick. Next up, I will take the Lions over Chicago. I have yet to see the Bears play, but I can't imagine they're good enough to shock the Lions at this point in time. Lions got embarrassed against the Packers. I think they bounced back pretty comfortably. I think they get the win at home over the Bears. The home field advantage plus early season chemistry for Caleb and his weapons. I don't trust the Bears at this point in time. While I did pick them to win week 1, I think they will lose on the road at Detroit. Give me the Lions comfortably in week 2. Then the Titans host the Rams, and I'm definitely taking the Rams. If the Rams defense is this elite, I will take the Rams comfortably. I don't trust the Titans early on in the season here, but I think this will be a good learning situation. I think Cam Ward will improve quickly over time. Watch out for the Titans starting by like week 5. I think they'll be a much better overall team, and their offense will start to score a lot more points. So at this point in time, they don't stand a chance. Give me the Rams for sure on the road, but watch out for the Titans late in the season. I did pick them to win their division. We'll see what happens. But next up, I have the Patriots going into the Dolphins Stadium and getting the win. The Dolphins looked so bad. I do not trust them. And I know weird shit happens. The Patriots often lose in Miami, but here I don't think it's going to happen. I'm going to trust Mike Vrabel. I think they'll bounce back on the road. It's never easy in Miami, but I just don't trust the Dolphins at all. Dolphins look like they quit in week 1. So they're going to have a lot of problems. They're really going to struggle. I don't trust their defense to stop anyone. Give me the Patriots on the road to get the win. I think the Raiders are much better than the Dolphins, and then the Patriots are kind of going to hover around 500. They're going to beat bad teams like this one. Give me the Patriots on the road to pull the upset. Vegas has them as the underdog. Next up, we have the Niners traveling to New Orleans. They're definitely beating the Saints. The Saints have no shot this year except maybe against Miami later in the season. I do not trust Spencer Rattler at all. And Robert Saleh's defense, I think, was better than expected. So give me the Niners on the road. That should be an easy victory for them. And then in the Jets' home stadium, I'm definitely taking Buffalo. They're the best team in New York. They're the best team in the division. And unlike that Ravens game, I don't think they're going to be trailing. I think they will win comfortably. Oftentimes, they beat bad teams like this by blowout. So give me the Bills overwhelmingly. That should be an easy victory for Buffalo and Josh Allen. Next up, we have the Steelers hosting Seattle, and I was not encouraged by Sam Darnold in week 1, so I did pick them to win the division. That might not be the right call, but week 2, I actually did expect them to lose to Pittsburgh in this matchup. So I'm going to trust Mike Tomlin early in the season. I think their defense will bounce back. And Rodgers' offense looked good. I did like what I saw from Rodgers. Even against a tough defense like the Seahawks, I will take Pittsburgh at home. I think the advantage is relevant. Give me Rodgers over Darnold. The Steelers beat the Seahawks at home in week 2. Then we have the Ravens hosting the Browns, and this is the most obvious pick on the week. Definitely give me Baltimore to bounce back over Cleveland. Flacco not getting any revenge over his former team. This one is overwhelmingly in favor of Baltimore. Next up, though, we have the Broncos traveling to the Colts, and the Colts looked good. I don't want to completely underestimate them and write them off, but I just think the Dolphins are that bad, not that Daniel Jones is that good. So I'm not going to fully buy in. I fully believed in the Broncos entering the season, and while maybe the Colts can hold their own, I will trust the Broncos defense to lock up Daniel Jones much better than the Dolphins defense did. So I'm going to trust Sean Payton. I'm going to trust the coaching. I think Bo Nix gets the win here. I think it might be a close game, but on the road, I will take Denver to get the win. I don't fully trust the Colts just yet, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're actually that legit. I'm not going to bet on it. Next up, we have the Cardinals hosting Carolina. And although I wasn't encouraged with the Cardinals enough to fully trust them, I was really discouraged by what I saw from the Panthers. And maybe it was the weather delay. That is definitely not ideal, but the Jags don't have a good defense. The Cardinals definitely are better on that side of the ball than the Jaguars. And Carolina was terrible against Jacksonville. So unless Chuba Hubbards can step up, if they have a legit run game, maybe they have a shot, but I just don't see it happening. I think they have a hard time stopping Trey McBride. And unlike last year where the Cardinals lost on the road, weather's not a factor in the dome. I will take Arizona to get the win. I think their offense will look pretty decent. At home, I'll pick them over the Carolina Panthers. Give me Kyler Murray over Bryce Young in week 2. But in Kansas City, we have a Super Bowl rematch here between the Chiefs and the Eagles, and I do not expect the Chiefs to bounce back. I think they looked pretty mediocre against the Chargers, and although the Eagles weren't amazing, the Eagles actually have more rest for this game than the Chiefs do, and the Chiefs have to travel from Brazil. So not going to take the Chiefs here. I don't trust their offensive line enough. Even with Josh Simmons, the left tackle, looking okay, I don't trust anyone else. So Jalen Carter is not getting ejected here. I think they absolutely lock up the run game, and then their pass rush is going to be diabolical. I am taking the Eagles to start 2-0, the Chiefs to lose and start 0-2. Give me the Eagles on the road to get the dub. Chiefs are going to have a rough time in this one. Next up, we have the Vikings hosting the Falcons, and although I have yet to see the Vikings play, I'm going to stick to my preseason prediction, and I will take the home team in this one. Brian Flores' defense is going to be tough to stop, and if Darnell Mooney is still not healthy, then the Falcons offense just does not have enough firepower to get the job done. So even though Bijan looks unguardable, and I did like what I saw from Penix, I was encouraged by that, I just don't quite trust them. On the road, it's a different situation. And if Younghoe Koo starts missing a lot of kicks, it's not going to be good for them. So I will take the home team. The Vikings home crowd is a tough environment to play in. And although we have yet to see JJ McCarthy, I reserve the right to flip this pick. If they look absolutely abysmal against Chicago, maybe I flip to the Falcons. But I trust the Vikings defense enough. I will take Minnesota at home to get the win. I don't feel great about this pick, but I will trust the Vikings at home in week 2. So another home team I am picking to win. And then on Monday, I'm actually going to take both home teams to win as well. The Texans looked pretty bad, but I think the Rams defense just looked that good. The Texans defense was pretty solid. If they can hold the Tampa Bay Bucks to 14 points like they held the Rams offense to 14 points, then I think they'll get the victory at home. I think on the road was a big factor for them in week 1. I think Nico Collins will look a lot better in this matchup. So while I am worried about their run game, their defense, I'm still a believer in, and I don't fully believe that the Bucks answered all of my questions. While they looked okay, they did not look unstoppable. They almost went into overtime against the Falcons, and I think the Texans are a better team, especially on defense. So give me Houston. They actually are favored in this one, and maybe that's not the wisest pick to take them against the spread, but I think straight up they can get the dub. It'll be a close game, but I will take CJ Stroud. At home, I think their offense bounces back, but perhaps I am wrong. Perhaps they're going to have a rough time this season. So give me Houston, and then in the second game on Monday night, I'm actually going to take the Las Vegas Raiders to get the win. This is a very heated rivalry. Pete Carroll and Jim Harbaugh do hate each other. So while the Chargers looked really good against the Chiefs, I think they're going to split the series with Vegas this year. I think the Raiders are going to beat every team in division at least once. And I do think the home field advantage does play a factor. I think Geno's going to look even better than last week in the Dome at home. So like what Chip Kelly was able to do with that offense, hopefully Bowers is healthy. That knee injury is kind of up in the air, but I think he'll play. And I do think that the Raiders defense is better than I gave it credit for. So with all of the travel back from Brazil, they have to travel again on the road here at the Raiders. I will take Las Vegas. I don't feel amazing about it, but this is what I predicted earlier in the summer, and I'm going to stick to it. Give me the Raiders at home to pull the upset on the Chargers. I think the Raiders can play very, very close against a lot of good teams. Maybe the Raiders are a sneaky wildcard team this year. So those are my picks this week. I'm taking the Packers at home over the Commanders. I'll take the Bengals at home over the Jaguars. Give me the Cowboys at home over the Giants. I'll take the Lions at home over the Bears. I'll take the Rams on the road over the Titans, the Patriots on the road over the Dolphins, the Niners on the road over the Saints, the Bills on the road over the Jets, the Steelers at home over the Seahawks, the Ravens at home over the Browns, the Broncos on the road beating the Colts, the Arizona Cardinals at home beating the Carolina Panthers, and then the Eagles on the road beating the Chiefs again, the Vikings at home beating the Falcons, and then the Texans at home beating the Bucks, and lastly the Raiders at home beating the Chargers. Those are my win-loss picks for week 2, and I'm not picking as many upsets overall, but still I do have quite a few underdogs getting the win. So those are my win-loss picks. Now it's time for my picks against the spread, and all of these odds are provided by FanDuel. I believe that the Patriots will win straight up. I do not trust the Dolphins at all, so they're getting a 1.5 on the road. Definitely give me New England as underdogs. I think the money line would be a great bet as well. I'm also taking the Eagles as 1.5 point underdogs. I don't understand this line at all. I know the Chiefs are at home, but they just lost and they looked pretty bad. They're without Xavier Worthy for sure. I think the Eagles will dominate. Give me the Eagles plus 1.5. That one feels like a great money line bet as well. The Falcons, I think, are getting too many points. While I did take the Vikings to win, I don't feel overwhelmingly confident about it. And I think the Falcons offense is going to be a nightmare to deal with Bijan looking unguardable. So I think the Falcons will keep it close. I think in prime time, this is not going to be a touchdown type of matchup, and the Falcons are getting 4.5 points here. So even if they lose, I don't think it'll be by more than a field goal. I will take Atlanta to cover, but not win straight up. I would not take Falcons money line, but 4.5, I like that a lot. Give me Atlanta getting points. I also like the Raiders who are getting points. I think they can win straight up, but getting a field goal at home feels like a very wise pick. They impressed me last week, and I think they can do it again. Give me the Raiders money line, but +3. I think that's a very, very wise bet. And then for favorites, I think the Bengals will win by well over a field goal. I think -3.5 is a point spread I'm willing to eat. So Bengals -3.5. It is safe enough to trust. The Bengals offense should look way, way better than last week. And the Jags, I don't think are actually legit. I think they really benefit from that weather delay. They would not have won so comfortably if that did not happen. So give me the Bengals at home -3.5. I think they should be more like 6.5 point favorites rather than 3.5. So love that line for them. And then lastly, I will take the Buffalo Bills as overwhelming favorites over the Jets. They're favored by a touchdown, but I think it should be 10 points. I think the Bills will dominate, as always, against their division rival, the New York Jets. So those are my bets this week. A lot of underdogs getting points. Love the Patriots money line, but +1.5. love it even more. Love the Eagles money line, but plus 1.5 also will take that happily. The Raiders, I think money line is also a good bet, but plus 3, give me that all day. The Falcons plus 4.5, I think will cover. They may lose the game, but 4.5 points is a lot. I love that for Atlanta. And then the Bengals as 3.5 point favorites, I think will cover, win by closer to a touchdown. And then the Bills, I think will win by at least double digits. -7, I think is a favorite I would like to trust. So those are my picks against the spread. Last week we went 3-3, and for week 1, I will take that. In week 1, I'm happy to go 500. So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I'll see you next time. My name's Adam Riancho, and thank you for watching Nice and Blunt.